Good afternoon, everybody in DFS land. It's your buddy Choppadong coming at you with another episode of Chop Talk brought to you by dfsarmy.com, your one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy sports. Take a look in the comments section at the bottom of this video. Click on the link. Use the coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, to become a VIP. I'm telling you, prices are going to go up here in a few weeks, and if you don't jump now, you're going to miss the boat. If you jump today, your prices are locked in. When our prices go up, yours don't change. As long as you remain a member, your price is locked in forever. So take that into consideration. Come check us out. I'm telling you, the best DFS site out there, from content to optimizers to tools to everything else, to coaching especially. That's where we excel. Come take a look at dfsarmy.com. Let's jump in and let's talk a little bit of slate magic tonight. I'm not going to be spending a lot of time on the Express slate, the 8 p.m. It's got two great pitchers on it. I don't care about flipping coins. I don't care about $11,000 pitchers and then trying to piece value bats together. But I want to point out to you that some slates have obvious pitching on them. 96, 90 ratings, DFSA ratings, huge strikeout numbers, huge strikeouts, against for teams that are facing great matchups and whatnot. But obviously they're going to cost you, and then you can't afford any bats, and that's just not a fun way for me to play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive down onto the late night slate. We're going to talk a little bit more about that slate, because the pitching here sucks. It is brutal. The highest DFSA graded pitcher is Derek Rodriguez, who we wrote up in Chin Music today, had a 50 DFS rating, but that's not good. That's still not good. It's all a crapshoot. All of these offenses are in play tonight, from Miami to LA. It doesn't really, coast to coast, east to west coast. It doesn't really matter what offenses you pick. Now, I'm going to focus on these bottom few guys: LA, Oakland, Colorado, New York, Arizona. And but if you wanted to play San Diego and Miami, man, freaking go for it. If you can find the hot bats in there, do it. I focus on the bottom rated pitchers. It's just the way I play, and I try to stack against them because I want, whatever the slate offers the best pitching, I'm usually going to be picking from these guys and taking that. Whatever it offers in the worst pitching, I'm usually going to be taking from their opponents and stacking against it. That's just how I play. Just so happens tonight's wide open on this slate, and we get Coors Field. So you get to determine what you want to do. Let's jump through the starting lineups page over on RotoGrinders really quick, because I want to show you that there is a little weather concern in Colorado. This is the time of year where pop-up afternoon thunderstorms happen, and they tend to sit on you and just park it and dump rain after rain after rain on you. And that can lead to delays and postponements and whatnot, but it doesn't look like a great chance of that tonight. I just want you aware of the fact that it is, and if you gamble against Coors Field and you get it right and the game just gets washed out, then good for you. If not, and the game goes crazy, then bad for you. So you have a decision to make tonight, to Coors or not to Coors. And honestly, I'm going to Coors. The reason why isn't because the Silver Bullet's my favorite beer. It's because this 15% chance at 8 o'clock doesn't do anything for me. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, it's still not even a 50% chance. I'm going to gamble on, to me the beer is half full. The can is half full, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up and drink from it tonight, because what I'm seeing here is the chances increase as the night goes on. It tells me later at night we have an issue. Well, by then the starting pitchers are gone, and the bats are back in the dugout, and we're in the 8th, 9th inning, and if the game's official and it's 8-6, then I'm still doing okay. I will take that chance. Now, I will also take chances on Arizona and LA, Oakland maybe. Padres aren't terrible. I don't know that I'll watch this game. This is the forgotten game, and it's not like these two pitchers are great. You want to stack this game up, you'll be all on your own. I just don't think on these smaller slates without giant GPPs that it's really going to help pay off the reward of taking that risk. So all I'm really trying to do is kind of stay fundamentally sound and let the lineups fall where they may. So let's try and find some of the hot bats, jumping into the research station, and I'll show you what I did. I go to the Trends tab. Research Station, if you're wondering where it is, MLB tab, Research Station. We typically open it up on Fridays for Freebie Friday, so you can get a little test drive. I'm also going to go over the starting lineups page for you today, too, and show you how I'm incorporating that in so that people can understand what the numbers are telling you and where they're trying to steer you when it comes to all of this DFS frivolity. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to narrow down my wobas. And the number filter that I use, I'll go greater than 330 tonight. It varies, man. Sometimes it's 350, sometimes it's 380. On smaller slates, I tend to lower the number a little bit because I want to include other bats in my stacks, and I want more than 1 or 2 players per team. On bigger slates, I don't mind that so much because I've got so many teams to choose from. I'm going to look at Mike Trout, and I'm going to see he's a 450 on the season, which is crazy for woba, a 500 plus for the last 2 weeks, and a 700 plus for the last 7 days. Nuts, nuts, and more nuts. I want players like that that are ascending, that are getting hot and staying hot. That's who I typically want to see. LA's in a great spot tonight. I think it's going to end. It's going to start and end with Mike Trout for me tonight, and I can't do that with a Justin Verlander on the main slate. So I've got to pick one of these cheaper pitchers and use that to my advantage. I know everybody's going to be on Mike Trout in a 4-game slate, so we're going to find some other bats to go with him. And we'll start by looking at LA. Trout, Upton, Calhoun's on a very small sample size of 3 at-bats. Chris Young. There you go. These are the bats I'd be building around in the LA offense. When I look at Arizona, Arizona was a name I mentioned. I see a bunch of bats here. Goldschmidt, Peralta, Descalso, Ahmed, John Jay, Kittle, Marte, all great. Good stack. Good team stack. They're running hot. They're not exactly facing a dominant pitcher tonight. I think they're pretty solid, pretty solid pick. Colorado, Story, Iannetta, Cargo, Desmond, Parra. These are the bats you should be focused on in that offense. When I look at New York, Nimmo, Conforto, Flores, a little bit of Jose Reyes if he gets the start tonight. I don't even know. The guy's so old he could be hurt. All I know is that Nimmo, Conforto, and Flores are the bats I'm looking at, unless I see information leading otherwise, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Oakland we also mentioned. Davis, Piscotty, Pinder. I'm not going to mess, obviously, with Fegley, but these are the guys that I'd be focused on. Now, I may include some other guys in these bats, and the way I'm going to find those when I want to broaden, I'm looking here at the tightest of my player pools, and now what I'm going to do is go to the starting lineups page inside MLB or dfsarmy.com, and I'm going to go under the MLB tab and pull up the starting lineups page, and I'm going to scroll down here to where my games start in Colorado, and I'm going to take a peek at how this is going to work itself out. I'm going to look at New York, and I'm going to see I already had Conforto, Nimmo, Mesoraco, and these are the guys that I already had pegged. But look over here. When I'm looking at the xwoba, xwoba is a luck factored out type of number. This is what the guy should be doing based on StatCast data. It's telling me that he should be hitting, Conforto should be hitting at a 397 woba against right-handed pitching. Instead, he's only hitting at a 250. So if he keeps this up, he's going to get his hits. The ball's going to start falling in. He's a good play for positive regression, which is a common term inside the industry. And all we're doing is showing you side by side how to pick these guys out. A 300 to a 282 is not much of a difference in Todd Frazier. 300 to a 400 is telling me Nimmo's getting a little bit lucky. He's running a little hotter than he should, which doesn't mean you get off of the wagon. It just means be ready for it to burn you. And when it does, his L7 numbers will come down here, and you can get off of the guy. Granted, we're looking at Oakland, but you know what I mean with the New York Mets. Jay Bruce, he's not hitting like he should. He should be hitting at a 332. It's positive regression. I don't like the 330, but I don't mind gambling a little bit out in Coors Field with some Conforto, Nimmo while he's hot. I don't think I'll take Todd Frazier. Jay Bruce, Cabrera's shouldn't be hitting all that well. I would be looking at Dominic Smith. If Dominic Smith gets the start, batting 5th, hello. Dominic Smith gets the start batting 5th for $3,000. He should be hitting a 450. He's already hitting a 360. He's a pretty key play today. That's pretty cheap for Colorado. I don't mind that in the least. That might even be a one-off for somebody somewhere, batting right in the middle of that order. If the Mets get it going again, he might be right in the thick of it. When I look over here at Colorado and I see, again, xwoba of 550. DJ LeMahieu should be balls on hot right now, but he's not. He's hitting it at 387. I mean, that's good over the last 2 weeks, but it's not ripping the cover off the ball. Not as bad as Blackman's been doing, but he's playable tonight based on this. Okay, I didn't write him down before in the last 7-day woba numbers because he's not performing over the last 7 days, but he should be. And since he should be, I trust these numbers. I don't mind putting him in some stacks. Arenado should be hitting at a 387. He's hitting at a 420. That's not terrible. Trevor Story, I don't know that I'd be playing him, although he's not going to be at a 147 forever. He's due for positive regression just based on being a better batter, in its own right. Desmond, hot. He's hitting at a 750. He should be hitting at a 550. He could sustain this, or 570. He could sustain this maybe for a little while. And even if this comes back down to a 570, who cares? Still hot. 650 for Iannetta, 500 actual. I mean, come on. These are the guys you should be focused on. These guys, when they coincide with, these numbers, are great plays. When I scroll down to Arizona, I see that they should be cooling off over the last 2 weeks. They're kind of not. Some of these guys are still running pretty hot. That's great. Play them. Keep playing them. Just be ready for them to start cooling off. They're starting to show signs that they're starting to cool off based on StatCast data, but they're not exactly playing a juggernaut pitcher tonight, so they could have one more good night for you. LA should be heating up. When I look at Mike Trout and Upton and Pujols and Jose Miguel, if Jose Miguel is getting the start tonight, where's LA? Lineup's not out yet. If Jose Miguel was getting the start tonight, I'd be really looking forward to this kind of a middle order stack. I don't even mind Andrelton Simmons at 328. That's his should be hitting at number and a 115. For him to get this number back to a 328, he's going to have a few big games, and I want to be ready for him when he does. I would not be on Maldonado, Valbuena. These guys are showing me signs they're not hitting right now, and they're not going to be hitting right now. When I scroll down to Oakland, we'll see Pinder, not bad. 350 should be hitting 470. 220 should be hitting at 370. Okay, so Lowry's in play. 400 should be hitting at a 500. Chris Davis is hot. Chris Davis is producing, and he should keep producing based on these numbers. The rest of the order, not so much. When I look over at San Diego, don't really see a lot of stuff to go for. Maybe a little Freddie Galvis. Miami at the bottom of the order here, should be okay-ish. They're running a little bit hot. They should be cooling down, which we see in the L7 numbers if I were to show you those. And then San Francisco, not much. That's why that game's going to be forgotten. So I would be focused on Arizona, LA, a one-off maybe here or there. San Diego, Oakland was in a pretty good spot, and then of course Coors Field, and that's where I'm going to attack. So when I go to the DFS Army the optimizer, the domination station, call up the late night slate, I'm going to first run, say, 8 lineups. It varies, sometimes 6, sometimes 10, whatever. I'm going to run out about 3 unique players, and I'm just going to let it run on its defaults alone. We're going to spend some time doing this, so it's a good thing we've got this thing kind of busted up in 10 minutes and show you the targets. Hopefully you wrote some of those names down. Sorry, Jose Fernandez should not be in 100% of my lineups. He wasn't even on my list. Let's see, pitcher, Eric Lauer. Ugh, I didn't think that Lauer was going to run everywhere. There's Derek Rodriguez. So if I want Derek Rodriguez, I'm going to have to come up here, and I'm going to have to goose his numbers a little bit. Try 28 points, and let's see if that takes him up. I don't mind Marquez. I just don't trust him in Coors Field, I guess. Straley, Vargas, Lauer, Pena Black. There's not a lot to really choose from here. Let's just see if we can get Rodriguez everywhere. Rodriguez, a little bit of Lauer, Rodriguez. Okay, now I can live with that. A little bit of Lauer. I might actually take Lauer, bump him about half a point, run it again, see if I can't get him in a second lineup. So using about 20 to 25% of what I do just to offset Marquez a little bit. Lauer, Rodriguez, Lauer. There's that 3 lineups. That's fine. See, I'm not going to be too particular with it, but I'm going to goose these numbers a little bit and start showing what I want to show. Now I'm going to scroll back up and I'm going to start playing with the players. Enable hitter stacking. I love running 4x3s. If you want to run 3x3, that's fine. If you want to run 3x3x2, that's fine too. It doesn't really matter what you choose as long as you're stacking a little bit. I liked Colorado to a certain degree. Maybe we'll put them in 25% of what we do. Maybe put the Mets in about 40% of what we do. I guess we can't if we're running Marquez. But it'll take care of that for me. Liked LA. Liked Arizona. Liked Arizona quite a bit. I might just focus on them. Liked Oakland a little bit. Didn't really like the others that much. I want to make sure these numbers don't add up over 200%. Because I want that if I don't want these other San Diegos and whatever to pop in there. So 20 and 40, 60 and 50 is 110, and 60 more is 170, and there's 210. So I got to drop it down somewhere. Let's drop the Mets down to, say, 30%. And that should be my that should be almost my 200%. We'll see if it lets me run some numbers. Stack expose, exceeds 200%. So if I bring you guys down to 20%, let's see if it does it now. There, now I'm on the 200% number. When I scroll down here and I look, I still see some Lauer and Rodriguez. And if I look at my picture, Rodriguez is in 75% of what I do. That's fine. That's first place I'm looking. Okay? Now, if I want to start picking on some of these players, and I'm only in 8 lineups, let's increase that. If I want to start running stacks, let's increase it out to, say, 15. Keep it at 3 uniques. Switch it out of tournament optimal mode to tournament mode so it shuffles those players up a little bit more and doesn't focus on just the expensive guys. Now I want to look at my pitchers. Rodriguez 75% versus 30% again, so that's fine. Now I see a lot of Jake Lamb. Jake Lamb was not on my list. I'm going to drop him down. Upton was on my list. Don't mind. That's okay. 8 lineups is all right. Let's say I want to get him in a little bit more. I'll round him up. Arenado is Arenado, but he's not exactly hot or on my list, so I might even drop him down to 14 points. Jose Fernandez was not on my list, so we'll take him down to about 9.5. And I'm just going to start running through here. Take these guys out. And Dustin Fowler was not on my list. Bump him down a little. Mike Trout I loved. I don't mind if he's in everything I do. Goldschmidt's been hot, so we'll put him up to about 14. Blackman's been cold as hell. I want him about completely gone. I don't mind if he has a big game against me tonight, because if people rostered him, they didn't look at the correct numbers. They shouldn't be on him tonight. Story's not bad. Call him 16. Simeon, not great. But as part of an Oakland stack, I might leave him. Maybe not. Let's bump him down to 10 and see what happens. Owings was not listed, so I don't really want any of him. Conforto was. Bump him up to about 14.5. Chris Davis was. He's only in 4 of my lineups. I would like him in quite a few more. Cabrera's not exactly hot. John Ryan Murphy's not exactly hot. Lauer, there's the pitcher. Matt Olson, not exactly hot. Kinsler was fairly decent play at numbers I looked at earlier today. Jay Bruce, not exactly, but only 3 lineups. Ian Desmond was hot. Why is he not showing up in more stuff? Kittle Marte was hot. Why is he not showing up in more stuff? Jed Lowry's playable. Why is he not showing up in more stuff? Call it about 10.8. I'm just feeling this out. Nimmo's still hot, so why is he not in more stuff? Peralta was hot. I mean, I'm repeating myself, but why is it not in more stuff? Frazier, not exactly. Descalso would be okay. John Jay's running fairly hot right now. We put him in some lineups. He's usually cheap. Pujols was running okay. Bump him about a point. Piscotty was definitely running okay. Why he's not in stuff, I don't know. LeMahieu showed promise. He should be in more than just one lineup. So we're going to bump him up a little bit. If Cole pops in there, I do want him at $2,000. I'd like him in a lot because he showed good signs in the 3 at-bats he had. Now I'm going to run, and I didn't touch on everybody. I didn't see any Para. I didn't see any Cargo. I can run up through there if I want, and I can take this and sort it by team and shift these down, and then really go through with a fine-tooth comb and see Cargo at 11, whatever, put him at 13. Para looks like he's not even starting tonight. That's why he's not in there. So that's fine. Make sure that I don't see anybody else. Chris Young was supposed to be in there a lot. If he gets the start tonight, I want him in some lineups. Upton, we already adjusted. Kinsler, Simmons, not in a bad spot. We already mentioned that. Don't really want any Miami guys. That's just me. Mets guys, Cabrera, Vargas, Plawecki. Got most of these guys, I think, that we liked. Just kind of covering over, making sure I'm covering all the bases. On shorter slates, you can do this much, much easier. All right, now I think we're ready to take a shot at some of this. I just saw Freddie Galvis and wanted to make sure, okay, if he pops in there, he pops in there, it's fine. Now I'm going to optimize it again. And I'm going to scroll back down here again, and I'm going to start watching these percentages. There's Derek Rodriguez and 73% stuff still, right? Conforto, Story, Goldschmidt, Kinsler, Trout, Davis, Piscotty, Lowry, all names we said were playable. Peralta, Marte, Frazier. Didn't really like a lot of Frazier, so I might drop him out a little bit more. Jake Lamb, didn't really like him. Might drop him a little more. Nimmo, didn't mind him. Might bring him up a little bit more. Desmond, loved him. Want him up a little bit more. Jay Bruce, not so much. Upton, definitely loved him. Want him up a little bit more. So I'm just going through here and tweaking things again. Don't want any Valbuena. Dyson, LeMahieu's not bad. See if we can get him in a little bit more stuff. Calhoun, can't believe that if he starts in the lineup, can't believe the domination station is not picking up on him. Pujols is even okay. Cuevas, not so much. Plawecki, Pinder, golly, see, Pinder wasn't in there before, and Pinder was high on our list. So let's put him up to about 9.5. And let's run it again. Sometimes I have to do this a dozen times to get to where I kind of like things. So Derek Rodriguez is now in 80% of my lineups. I might tone him down a little bit based on how much, if I have to keep doing this, he keeps showing up in a few more lineups. I might run an Eric Lauer tonight just to offset it, but I probably will mostly be on Derek Rodriguez anyway. Story, Jay, Upton. Jay might be a little high. I don't really want him in 60% of what I do. Upton, Goldschmidt, Kinsler, Davis, Trout, Pinder. There's Pinder, Peralta, LeMahieu. Maybe don't want. Well, he's only in 4 lineups. These are all pretty evenly spread out now. Although I still want Desmond and Moore. I still want Ketel Marte and Moore. Nimmo's okay at 3, but I might put him up a little bit higher and see if he doesn't do something. Cargo, why is he, again, not in more? Frazier, Matt Olson, Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen's hot. He's not a terrible play out there as a one-off if you want to introduce him into a few more lineups. Pujols, Panic, Posey, that's got a San Francisco stack in it, which is interesting. Brian and Descalzo, whatever else. Okay, so we'll go up, we'll click it again. You should be doing this yourself, too. Going back and just clicking them again. Scroll back down and see if this is the type of play. I haven't looked at any lineups yet. I'm just trying to get these percentages right. I want to make sure that most of my guys, yeah, see, don't really want him in 87% of my lineups. I want to at least have some options. So when I go back down, hopefully it takes him down out of there a little bit. Yeah, 60%. That's fine. I can even get him back up to, you know, halfway, split the difference like you're playing Price is Right with the higher or lower bidding. Yeah, I got Derek Rodriguez again, 73% again. So just by tweaking it just a little bit, it put another Lauer lineup out there. Desmond, Trout, Jay, Upton, Story, Goldschmidt, Calhoun, Conforto, LeMahieu, Pinder. All right, now we're starting to look pretty good. I can keep playing with this. Like if I wanted more Peralta, I can keep playing with this if I want to. Or I can start going through my lineups now. And I'm going to see a Colorado and LA stack with a one-off of Conforto. That's okay. Click that lineup. Might like it. Colorado, LA with a slice of Spangenberg, which is interesting because it's not Freddie Galveston. I didn't think he was running all that hot. And it's also using Jose Fernandez, who I did not like. So I probably don't. Well, I'm not going to probably use that lineup. Colorado, LA, slice of Todd Frazier. Don't like that lineup. I don't want Frazier in my lineups. Colorado, LA, slice of Ketel Marte. Oh, I'm sorry. One off of Desmond, LA, Arizona. I like that. The one-off's great. Colorado, LA, Oakland. Oakland, LA. Slice of Desmond. See, now I've got 2 Derek Rodriguez's and an Eric Lauer. That's 3 lineups. That's fine. I've got Colorado, LA with a little bit of Mets. I've got LA, Arizona with a little Colorado. LA, Oakland with a little Colorado. I can scroll down a little bit more and maybe try and find, you know, something like a Mets stack or something like that. There's Colorado and Oakland. So that's a little bit different twist again. And that's all I'm trying to do. What's this? LA and Oakland. Arizona and LA again. And I just keep on going. There's the Mets. And Arizona. So with Lauer, I've got Desmond. And then I've got Cabrera. I don't want Frazier. And Nimmo in there with Marte, Peralta. Oh, that one is actually Cabrera, Frazier, Nimmo, Conforto with J, Peralta, Marte. That's not terrible. I would have never built that lineup on my own. That's what the optimizer's for. Might not mind that one too much. I'm just earmarking these to see which ones I like, and then I will go back and I'll pick which ones I like. There's Arizona and the Mets with Desmond. He's going to love Desmond, of course. Goldschmidt, Marrero. That's interesting. We don't know that he's starting yet. Marte, John Jay with Conforto, Nimmo, Cabrera. I don't mind that too much if Marrero gets the start. Arizona, Oakland with a slice of Mike Trout. You can't hate that. Oakland, Arizona with a slice of Desmond again. And Derek. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lineups. I would go take those and I would, you know, throw them in a smattering of things if I wanted to. And that's just typically what I tend to do. Now, I've got 6 decent lineups keyed around good offenses, keyed around different stacks, keyed around different players, you know, and different teams mixing and matching Colorado with Arizona, with New York, with Oakland, with whatever. And I'm just letting the optimizer tell me based on the projections who are the best mixes to put together. They're all names I liked. They're all names that on the starting lineups page I picked out as having good xwobas and wobas, and then in the research station picked out as having a good last 7-day woba. They're all hot. They're all running hot or about to get hot based on these numbers. Out of 6 lineups tonight, mixing and matching the better offenses that we have, then I should be onto something. Pitching doesn't matter as much tonight because none of these pitchers are any good. You just hope the guy doesn't blow up and cost you your night because 3 other guys have great nights. Well, they're not good pitchers. 3 of these guys aren't necessarily going to have great nights. There's no consistent pitching on the slate, so I'm okay with being pretty random with it. I just want to focus on the offenses likely to explode, and I think I've found some, so this is probably what I'll end up doing. And this is what I do every single night. Hopefully you saw how I pick out my pitchers off the research station, how I pick out my bats off the research station, and how I'm incorporating the starting lineups page and xwoba with woba and the statcast numbers into verifying or expanding my players list a little bit. And then take that and put those numbers down on paper, those names down on paper, around those team stacks, set up the optimizer so that I can then spit out 20 to 25 lineups the way I want. With players I want. I don't have any of this rant. People are like, oh, why was he on Joey Gallo last night when I didn't want him? Well, then don't play him. Go take Joey Gallo's number 8, his 8-point projection, and toss it down to a 5 and kick him out of your player pool. Then you'll never see Joey Gallo again. And then if Joey Gallo has a huge night, it's on you. But at least he doesn't have a bad night and you blame the optimizer. Take control of this thing. This is what gets you unique lineups. This is what will win you GPPs or leagues or cash games or whatever. Play fundamentally smart. Target bad pitching with hot bats. Make a few lineups and watch something do well. That's the way DFS is played today with these machines, and you can't get these for free, so you've got to become a VIP inside dfsarmy.com. You've got to use the code CHOP, C-H-O-P. You've got to click the link in the comments section, and you've got to come in here and talk to the coaching and let us show you through these videos and through these through talking in Slack how to set up your game so that you're positioning yourself to perform. Let's put an end to the redepositing and the losing, and let's get in and right the ship, okay? All right, just consider it. Follow me on Twitter, ask me anything. Follow me in Slack, ask me anything. I'm always up for discussion when it comes to DFS. This is Chop the Dong. It's been Chop Talk. It's been real. It's been fun. I got more lineups to build, so I'm out of here. We'll talk to you guys a little bit later in the week.